Hi, you guys. I just want to first and foremost say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. You know, it's been a rough year. Us moms, we were challenged to do different things. In the last year, we were challenged to be teachers. We were challenged to do this. We were challenged to do that. Um, some probably have to turn into full stay-at-home moms and anything else you can think of. But we were challenged. And as we women do, we take a challenge and we conquer it. We overcome it. We beat it. We do whatever we got to do because we got to make it happen. The men, they do the same thing. And we love y'all. You guys are Superman as well. But right now, this is about us mommies and our strength and what we have to offer and how we are able to get through anything and um, still put a smile on our face. Okay, so I am on here today. You're probably like, where the hell have you been in the past year? What's going on with you guys? So I'm on here to share my story. I made it, y'all. I made it. God's good. I made it. I'm here. I'm able to see another Mother's Day. I'm able to be here with my children and my husband and my family. So yeah, I made it. We made it. So let me explain what I mean by I made it. God is good, and that's all I can constantly remind myself is that God is good. So many of you all know that a year ago I had baby boy. We had a new addition to our family, baby boy King Nathan. And you cannot tell me that after having him that life was going to change for me like drastically. You just couldn't tell me. And I just wouldn't have believed it. Not like that anything could happen to me, but I just wouldn't believe, I just didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming at all. And so had baby boy February 21st, 2020. Shortly after I delivered, I think I delivered on a Friday or Saturday, no, Friday, I believe. Stayed at the hospital Saturday, Sunday. Everything's normal. I get home. We leave out Sunday to go home. And over the week, my feet were starting to swell. And I'm just like, oh, this is weird. But okay, feet swell. I mean, I just had a baby. It'll go down. Well, over the next couple days, they swelled even more. And then over that period of time, even though I wasn't walking much around the house, my husband's like, take it easy. I got everything. Wasn't walking much. I couldn't really tell about the breathing part. But closer to the end of the week, I was walking more. And as I was walking, I'm like, dang, babe, I can't breathe. Like, this feels weird. Something just feels off. Like, I can't breathe. Like, I'm taking like one step and then I'm like out of breath. Like maybe a couple steps because I'm not walking fast. But a couple steps and I'm out of breath. And I'm like, something ain't right. But I don't know. So I think by that Saturday, I was like, okay, babe, I'm going to the ER because I'm just out of breath. And I've never known what that feels like. So I was like, okay. And so I drove myself to the ER. Hubby stayed home with the baby. And, just thinking it's going to be something simple. And, he stayed home. And so I go to the ER. But I park as I'm walking up to the ER. And it wasn't that far. Maybe like 15 feet. But I was getting more and more out of breath. Shorter and shorter. Like one step, I'm like, gasping for air. I'm like, oh my gosh. And eventually, by the time I made it to the front desk, I'm like in tears because I'm like, what in the world? Like, I don't understand why I can't breathe. What is going on? And so, I'm like in tears crying to the woman, like perfectly fine leaving from home, but walking from my car to the emergency room was such a fast walk for me. I just couldn't keep up. And I'm like, I'm out of breath and I don't understand why. I'm in tears at this point saying these words, but I'm like out of breath. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. Excuse me crying, but I just don't know why I'm out of breath. And so she's like, it's okay. Don't worry. Set me down, took all my information, set me down, and waited for them to call me back. They called me back. I think they did I think they normally do an EKG or something like that on you initially when you go in. They took me back to the room, the ER room, and they're like, okay, you have fluid in your lungs. We're going to go ahead and give you a diuretic, and that's going to start to pull the fluid off. I'm like, bet. Okay. So, me not thinking, okay, well, why do I have fluid in my lungs? But I'm just like, okay, get the fluid off so I can breathe. That's, basically, that's why you cannot breathe. So then this doctor comes in, and the nurse told me I had fluid in my lungs. The doctor comes in, and he's like, okay, so you have blah, 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 blah. I was like, what? Something with your heart. I said, what? I said, English, please. Okay, so basically, your heart's not functioning properly, and something here and something here is not pushing the blood flow through, or something. And that's why things are backed up in your lungs, because it's stopping the blood flow and the fluid from pushing through your body. I said, oh, okay, so I just had a baby a week ago, and then now you're telling me that I have something wrong with my heart? Like, what are you talking about? I said, okay, Jesus. Okay. So I called my husband. I'm like, babe, doctor was talking about like I have something wrong with my heart. Like, and so I think for him at that point, it kind of got real, because they were like, what? What do you mean? Like, no, you just said you couldn't breathe. And it's probably because, this is a man talking, probably because you have milk, in your boobs and you're breastfeeding and your boobs are just heavy. So that's why you can't breathe, not because something's wrong with you. And I'm like, as much as I would love for it to be that way, I don't think it is. Like, he's saying something's wrong with my heart. So, I don't know. They said they're going to admit me, and then, I don't know, just see if, mom or sister can watch the baby, and come up here. So it worked out. My sister, mom, came to get the baby and took the baby back home. And my husband came up there super fast after. And this is where it begins to get like scary for me. This is where it begins to get scary. So they wanted to admit me, and then like some time had went by, because I don't know what they were doing in the back or what was going on, but they came back in after a couple hours and realized that they don't have what it takes to take care of me at their hospital. And so they were going to admit me to the hospital on the plaza. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so I didn't hear the words postpartum preclamsia until I got to the hospital in the plaza. And they took me to the hospital in the plaza because they work with high-risk pregnancy and postpartum preeclampsia. They have everything that they need there to treat and take care of a mother dealing with those issues. And so we had to wait even longer while we were still in the hospital, because they didn't have an ambulance to take me. And so my husband was like, skip that. Like, I'm taking you myself. So baby got me in the car. They allowed him to do that. And they said that the hospital in the plaza had everything, like they were waiting for me to come. So they had everything set up, a room set up, everything set up for me to come. And baby sped down the highway, probably going 100, just because we didn't know how urgent this is. We didn't know what was going on. All he's saying is something's wrong with my heart, and I needed to get there ASAP. So We get there, we walk in. They escorted me to my room. Everything was set up. It was a nice baby and mom room, even though baby wasn't with me at the time. But they, I guess, gave me that room so if baby came up, then, you know, we'll have space. And so instantly they started hooking me up. So they started running all these tests and whatnot. Boy, I just didn't see any of this coming. I didn't see any of it coming. So they started doing tests and everything. Everything was elevated. They say, okay, you have postpartum preeclampsia. I'm like, okay, what is that? I mean, you hear about it, you know, in your doctor's visits. They like tell you to watch out for high blood pressure or fluid or this, and that. They tell you to watch out for that stuff. But once again, my doctor said everything was normal. So I didn't think, you know, that I had to watch out for it. But little did I know, every woman needs to watch out for it. Even though it's rare. It's a rare situation. It's a rare case. I was a rare case. I was a rare severe case on top of that, from what I learned from a cardiologist. But anyways, so back to the hospital visit. Not visit, the hospital admittance. She's like, liver enzymes are elevated, everything's elevated. We're gonna have to go ahead and start you on a high dose of magnesium. And she said, what that's going to do is that's going to prevent you from having seizures. And I'm like, okay, why would I have seizures? Okay, well, I learned all this through my hospital stay. Postpartum, so preeclampsia, you hear about it during pregnancy. Preeclampsia is pre-seizures. Preeclampsia is seizures. Preeclampsia is before seizures. So I had postpartum preeclampsia, meaning I had pre-seizures post-baby. So thank God I never made it to the seizure part, but they did everything they could to kind of stop things where they were at and to get things to go back down and lower. So they did the magnesium. I don't know how the liver enzymes, I guess the magnesium works for the liver enzymes as well, because you just had, it was just a waiting game. You just kind of had to wait until your body flushes out whatever it needs to flush out for things to normalize, for your body to recognize itself and go back normal. And so that was that part. I was in the hospital for a few days. My husband, he was there right by my side the whole time. It was a scary experience because they had to do like a heart echo and all this stuff to check like why the heart wasn't functioning properly. But by the end of the echo, by the end of my visit, everything, you know, turned out to be normal. They said everything was functioning properly. I think I left the hospital in like 3 days. My husband did bring my mom and my son up. He did bring my mom and my son up. Except like at that time, before, you know, things started to normalize, those first 2 days, like, you know, they were just monitoring me and just keeping me on meds and stuff. I didn't know if I was going to see my son again. I'm like, I just had him. I'm sorry. I just had him a week ago. And I've only had a week with him. And then my daughter, my 7-year-old, I hadn't seen her since, I hadn't seen her for a few days before I went into the hospital, because she was staying with my mom so that, you know, I can get rest and whatnot. And so that's what mothers do. They take care of the kids. So, You know, you could just focus on baby and focus on yourself, and make sure you're healthy and just doing everything you need to do after you deliver a baby. And so I hadn't seen my daughter for a couple days. But just because she's a little bit older, we didn't bring her to the hospital because we didn't want her to be worried. We didn't want her to be worried about me. But they brought the baby up so I could see the baby. My husband went to go pick up my mom and the baby. Brought the baby up so I could see the baby, and I talked to my daughter on FaceTime. But I don't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know. Nobody knew. My husband was trying to be as strong as he could. I think it really put things in perspective for him too, because, you know, it was so cute him saying that, oh, I couldn't breathe because of my breasts were heavy from the milk, but I couldn't breathe because I had fluid in my lungs because my heart wasn't functioning properly. I'm sorry, y'all. I get emotional every time I think about this because this was like a real life experience for me, a life-changing experience for me. Okay. And so, fast forward, my mom stayed up there with me. She gave my husband a break for a little bit, you know, because he was there with me the whole time. Gave him a break, and she stayed with me with baby. And then they left and did what they had to do. She went back to take care of baby. And, you know, God works in mysterious ways. He works in such mysterious ways. Because my mom, she's a faithful worker. She loves her job. She's a woman of God. And so she believes in not missing work. She believes in helping others. She believes in all the things that you should believe in as a person. Like, this world has us so confused and so twisted right now that the things that should matter in life don't matter to people. And so this world is moving so fast and it's pushing so much bad into the world and making you forget about being a good person. So my mom took off a whole week of work. God works in mysterious ways, which she never takes off work. Never. But she took it off a week for me because my husband's sister, like I told you guys, was supposed to come in town the first week that I delivered. She was going to be here the whole week, and then my mom was going to take off the second week so she could spend time with me and the baby from work. My sister-in-law never came. No offense to you, sis, but my sister-in-law never came. And coincidentally, I ended up in the hospital, and my mom was off work the whole next week to take care of my son and my daughter. And I'm like, that is wild. Like, that is wild. How perfect was that? Like, God, even though, like, no, I didn't want to go through this experience, but God aligned the stars just perfectly to make things just work out the way they did. And so, that whole second week that I was in and out the hospital, my mom was home with my kids. Actually, she came to my home. When I finally got back home, she came to my home. She made me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She made breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She took care of my son. She took care of me. Like, just the beauty of a mother. I'm so sorry. Just the beauty of a mother, that right there. This is why Mother's Day is so important. You guys don't appreciate. If you don't appreciate your mom, please do. Because they're not here for forever. They're not here for forever. That was the moment that I got to experience with her. It's same for my sister as well. My sister, she went above and beyond and helped out during that second week that I was in and out the hospital after delivering our son and dealing with postpartum preeclampsia. Okay, so first week, deliver baby. Second week in the hospital. Third week, we're into a whole pandemic. We enter into a pandemic. I'm like, okay. Fourth week, we become stay-at-home moms, teachers. Our businesses get shut down. And just to fast forward, just because this video is getting long, I'm sorry. We'll just have to revisit this another day. I don't want to bore you guys, but it just shows you the power of a woman. It shows you the power of God. It shows you what we're capable of, you know. It shows you our strength. It shows you our weakness as well. It shows you our weakness. It shows you love. It shows you compassion. It shows you that you can make it through anything. It shows you that God is real. And so the ultimate conclusion that I have for you guys today, I can't even share it because I can't even get through the whole story. So we'll have to revisit this, but I just want to salute to all you mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you all. You all are beautiful, amazing people, and I salute every single one of you guys. No matter what position you're in, no matter where you're at in life, I salute you all. Love your children, love yourself, love your family, be good to others. Check on people, ask about people, see how they're doing, actually care. And this goes for everyone. You never know what someone's going through. You don't never know how they're going through it. You know, people look at our life and they're like, oh, they're the Duckworths. You know, they're Gucci, they're good. Duckworths go through things too. Happy Mother's Day. I love you all.